Right, guys, we should be live now. We're going to do something new here where we actually talk to people who are running for independent candidates in the local elections. This is because, obviously, the big political parties, they have money and influence to get on TV and talk all kinds of crap that they want to talk, pushing them, getting people to vote for them when independent candidates don't have the same. So, today we've got Darren of Plymouth, or Darren Denslow. Forgot his fucking name like an idiot. He's coming on to talk to us, so we'll hear from him now. All right, Darren.
Hi.
Yeah, still. You look sound like you're sorting something out in the background.
Oh, that's just me banging into my desk.
Right, guys. We got Darren of Denslow with us. Darren Denslow, or Darren of Plymouth on Twitter. He's
How's
running
it
for...
going, guys?
The chat doesn't seem to be working. Hold on. We've lost the chat. Boom, a moment. The chat's gone. Now it's back.
Oh,
now it's back. Now, there you go.
Good.
I want to make sure it's all working. We are live. Yes, we are. Now, apparently it's spinning. We got some refresh. Yeah, everything is good. No. Right, technical issues out of the way.
Yeah.
Now we're good. Right, guys, I want to welcome Darren here. He's running in Plymouth for local candidate and independent, away from the Tories, Labour and all them scumbags there that have been ruining your lives for the past, decades at this point.
Hello, guys. How's it going?
Chat. We're just waiting for the chat to build up.
Yeah, my name's Darren. I'm a chemistry teacher from Plymouth. I'm an all-round good guy, and I'm a bit pissed off, and I've decided that I'm going to stand in the local elections and try and represent the people that I live with and remove in our city a corrupt and woke Labour government or Labour local authority.
Which is the same, of course, across the country at this point, almost.
Yeah, I mean, and it doesn't really matter if it's Labour or if it's Conservative, because they all seem to be working together. There's no opposition anywhere to the narrative that we're being forced to live under. And I've decided to, put my money where my mouth is, so to speak, and walk the walk rather than just screaming and shouting on Twitter, which is not going to get us anywhere, is it?
No, well, on Twitter it certainly won't, because it's full of the exact same woke people that you're fighting against. And you've dealt with this, actually, with the local councillors there that are currently in place, haven't you?
Yeah, I mean, the minute I said on Twitter that I was going to be standing in Peveril, so that's the ward that I'm representing, and I actually live right on the outskirts of this ward, and I've lived in Plymouth all my life. 38 years I've lived in Plymouth. As soon as I announced myself as a candidate and other independents in Plymouth who are also standing up for the people in their communities, we immediately got labelled as racist, as far right, as white supremacist, as the fash, and I have actually called this out, so you can go and see this on my Twitter feed.
I don't need to go onto your Twitter feed. I've got the picture there ready for everyone to actually see.
Please read it out.
The Plymouth Council leader, he retweeted something, didn't he? Yeah. There's a really worrying trend of the actual far right standing as independents in local elections, branding themselves as honest local people. And this was retweeted by Tudor Evans, which is the councillor. Or the council leader, isn't he?
Yeah, so Tudor Evans is the leader of Plymouth City Council. I have to say he hasn't named anybody, and he didn't write it himself, but he did share it, and that is from a Plymouth Labour account that actually wrote that message. And we've had lots of this over the last few days. There's been a little bit of a pile-on at times. And it's ridiculous, because every single person, there are 5 of us who are standing up as local independent candidates. We all live in Plymouth. We're all pretty much from Plymouth. And we're all determined just to represent the voices of the people in the areas that we live. And yet we're called fascist. We're standing up to say, hey, we're not happy about the woke narrative where you're taking down street names and you're talking about taking down statues. We're not happy about that. That's called right wing. And we're also all pretty much opposed to the lockdowns, We want businesses to be reopened. We want our city moving again in a forward direction after the last 12 months. And that's also considered, fascistic ideology. And it's just insane.
Yeah, but
so
all of
I've
this,
been calling this out.
It makes me laugh hearing people call other people fascistic or fascists, or Nazis even, when these same people are literally calling for papers, please, vaccine passports, lockdowns, which a year ago 2 years ago now, when Boris prorogued Parliament, wanted to get Brexit done, when he did that, they called him a fascist, a dictator, all kinds of things. I actually did videos on it at the time, saying he wasn't a dictator because he fucking wasn't. Now, he's actually acting like Kim Jong-un or something. We should call him Kim Jong-Boris. But now that he's doing that, they're all silent, actually cheering him on. Like, yes, come on, Boris, well done, lockdowns.
Yeah, I mean, Labour wanted them to lock down harder. You're not doing it hard enough, Boris. It's like, why are you on about? Well, why is there no opposition in Parliament or in the local authorities and the small councils all around the city? There is zero opposition. I watched the council meeting yesterday afternoon. I do not recommend anyone do it. I saw nothing constructive happening. All they did was fight each other. And all the way through this council meeting, there was an undercurrent that the lockdowns were good, the lockdowns were necessary, masks, the pandemic, etc. There was nobody there providing any sort of asking any sort of questions or providing any sort of counter narrative to what we're being told is happening and why we are all living with our freedoms restricted and in some cases completely removed, and we're never going to get them back. And so that's why I'm standing, mate. That's why I'm standing.
And yeah, on that, actually, you see with you saying that none of them are saying anything in response to the narrative, that even if they don't agree with the narrative, you have to remember that these people are so pussy whipped, so whipped down by the need to be in the position they're in, the need for that little bit of power that they've got, that even if they disagree with it wholeheartedly on every level, they lack morals you could live by, so they'll go along with it anyway. This is what you have to understand.
And I absolutely know that that's the case. I know that there, not only does there have to be, but that there is people that are in the Plymouth local government and the Plymouth City Council that do not believe what they've been told, do not believe that we should be locked down, do not believe that small businesses should all be shut while Amazon or Tesco's are making billions, and yet they say nothing.
Of course they do. Of course they know this. They're not stupid. These people are not stupid. They might act stupid, but they won't actually be stupid. It's closer to corruption than it is to stupidity. Calling it stupidity is generous.
Yeah, it's corruption. And the whole last 12 months, people say, oh, look, Boris and his government are completely incompetent. Look at all the, mistakes they've made. Look at everything they're getting wrong. Look what's happening at our borders. Look at the lockdowns, blah, blah, blah. And actually, look at the exams with the schools, look at that fiasco. But actually, when you take a step back and look what's happened, in 13 months, we've gone from, there could be a dangerous disease, we've got 3 weeks to flatten the curve, to now where it's, we're going to have time-limited passports in certain situations. That's hell of an achievement for what's happened. And, we should be quite concerned that this whole process is not abating. It seems to be gathering speed still, and it's not over. The opening that we're having tomorrow, and we're getting some of our freedoms back, and 2 people can meet outside now, even if they're vaccinated or unvaccinated. This is not the beginning of the end. I think this is just another summer holiday for us all.
Of course not. Of course not. It's not the end of anything. They've renewed the powers. They also need the emergency to continue. So they're not going to stop anything at the end of the day. It's not going to end. And I see a government minister, I think it was Grant Shapps, the prat, yesterday.
Right.
Go on there, not yesterday, maybe it was the day before. He went on TV. He went on, actually, it was Talk Radio, and was trying to make out like, it's good we're giving you your freedoms back. And Julia Hartley-Brewer was like, what are you talking about? Like, we should have had them anyway. Yeah, I mean, and you can see him sitting there, grandstanding like he's done something good. Like, yes, we're going to let you outside again. We're going to let you have fun with your friends.
Yeah. And this is typical sort of behavior of dictators, where they take away all your freedoms back and then they give you a little bit back. You give you the crumbs back and everyone's happy.
No, dictators, dictators are better than that. Dictators don't do that. They're honest. They're cunts. They don't fuck around. Yeah. They don't sit there and say, we're trying to save your life. We're trying to make it better. They're saying we
Yeah,
run
we're just
shit
fucking
here.
taking it.
This is us.
Yeah,
We own it. They don't hide from it.
You are right. There's a actually greater malevolence and level of sinister about it.
Yeah,
to
it's
be
much
honest,
more sinister,
you know?
I would say.
Yeah, it's quite evil. And actually, I've done some canvassing. I've been around 2/3 of my Peveril ward. So if we're talking numbers, I would say that's probably 3,000 houses. And I've spoken to 60, 70 people on the streets. I've not knocked on doors because there's a pandemic.
Right, they'll be saying you've killed grandma now because you spoke to people on the street.
I will be doing that in a couple of weeks, and I will be knocking on doors. And I'm sort of quite happy with the engagement that I've got. And there are people out there who are like, it's great, we're opening up, it's over this time. There are people who think that. But the vast majority of people, just like the silent majority through the whole Brexit saga, don't believe any of the bollocks that they've been told and are just afraid to say something. And I'm hoping that feeling, that undercurrent that's probably going right through the country of people who are silent and pretending, when they get to the ballot box, they're going to vote for independent candidates like me, like Danny Bamping, like Deanna Yates. These are independent candidates in Plymouth, and other independent candidates across the country. I'm hoping that we can make a big dent.
Well,
there's even a headline there, but
you got to remember, like, take back for Brexit 2019. Yeah. The Tories were ploughing along with doing what they wanted, what Theresa May wanted, selling us out down the river. Tory MPs weren't going for it for some reason or another. Local elections, European elections come, they got absolutely trounced.
Yeah,
they got ruined. Yeah, all of a sudden, May bots out the door. She's gone like a fart in the wind. Then you got Boris Johnson coming in. So people say, local elections, mayoral elections, things like that are worthless. But no, not really, because if they lose or can see a loss in voter share compared to before, the people at the top of the party who must hold on to power, that is their only aim. They don't care who's in charge. They just care that they are in charge and they have the political power. They'll cover up all kinds of shit, grooming gangs, you name it. They'll cover it up just to keep themselves in power, keep what they want to get going. Yeah.
Play politics,
Yeah, that's what they'll do.
But would that happen this time? I mean, that's the whole point, isn't it?
They want to bring in electronic voting, don't they? So, don't know.
Yeah. Because we know how reliable. We've seen the.
Well, it's not that. It's not even that. It's not even that. It's not even that. Let's remember that how many times have Labour been done for election fraud and voting fraud in the UK as it stands? Without that, just from voting.
And that has to. Yeah, we saw what happened in 2019 with the Brexit Party. I can't remember the town now. Was it Brighton?
No, Peterborough.
It was the only place. Peterborough, sorry.
Peterborough.
It was the only place.
Yeah,
the Brexit Party
there was suggestions that it happened up there, and then the police come out and said it didn't. Then I think they said it did. Then they said it didn't. I don't actually know what fucking happened with that. I think people just give up on it.
Only the guy that was accused had already done time.
Didn't she lose at the general election, actually? She got booted out.
Yeah.
She was gone.
Well, they all got trounced in the general election, mate, didn't they?
Yeah, she was gone. Yeah, Labour one was gone. I remember that. Yes, because, guys, remember, Darren is also a Brexiteer. I think I forgot to mention that at the beginning.
Yeah, I'm a staunch Brexiteer, and I'm really, really concerned that we've just been given a nice, pretty picture of, you've got your Brexit, but behind all of that, there's I don't think we're getting truly what we voted for.
Is it?
Well, we've still got thousands turning up at Dover every day. So
why is that happening? That'll continue forever. They'll never stop that. They'll never stop that.
And it's being allowed, and so yes, it's
Hold on, we have.
Yeah, I think we've been stitched up in the whole.
All right,
whole Brexit deal, mate.
No, there we go. It's back.
Okay. So, we need to get voices opposing what's going on at a local level. And as one constituent said to me, I was just walking around, you've got to get in at the bottom, slowly work your way up and change from the inside. He was an ex-military guy.
Well, from what I know of councils, and I've dealt with a few of them in my time, I've dealt with the corruption of the people who work for them as well. I've seen them as the end of the year comes along, like, we got this much of the budget left. We need to spend it all so they give us the same amount or more next time. And I'm like, that's people's money.
Yeah, use it
You know
or
what I
lose
mean?
it.
That's taxpayers' money. What are you doing? You
Yeah.
can't be doing that. That's bang out of order. But they did, and apparently they did it
Yeah.
every year. Like, I
Yeah,
was
and
only there as contract, so I didn't work for them directly, but I looked at it like, rah, that's fucking dodgy.
Yeah. Well, I worked in the strategic procurement unit of Plymouth City Council for 3 years, and I also worked in the strategic procurement unit of the Royal Dockyard in Plymouth. I worked there for 13 years, so I've got some experience in finance, and I can tell you a real classic story from Plymouth City Council. I was there for first week. I had a quote. We'll just say it was £10,000. I said, to my boss, I said, can I go and negotiate on that? And the big procurement boss, one of these horrible bureaucrats, was in there. He screamed at me, no, you're not allowed to do that. And I said, what? I said, can I revisit this quote? Ask him to revisit it by 10%. And he said, no. And this was 10 years ago. There was no negotiation on any prices. The customer, which is the taxpayer, is getting no value for money. The deals that I've done are so dodgy. It's hard to explain on here without probably causing me any problems for saying it. 75% of taxpayers' money just goes down the drain.
Well, yeah, we've seen that with the coronavirus contracts.
Exactly.
Fuck tenders. Give it to your next door neighbour.
Yeah.
Or fuck tenders. Give it to the largest Tory party donor that you happen to take a phone call from that day.
Yeah. Your mate's supplying all the PPE. Isn't that right?
And the same would have been true of Labour. The same would have been true of Labour. They sit there and say they would have championed this and that, and they would have made it local. Yeah, they would have spread it out to local councils who would have given it to their local friends.
Exactly. And this afternoon, I'm preparing a Freedom of Information request for Plymouth City Council because I want to know how much they've spent on COVID signage, posters, warning signs. You get the picture. Anything that they put up right across the city last March. So when we all come out in April and going, oh, look, here's the world, apart from there's fucking COVID written everywhere. I want to know how much they spent on that.
Yeah, so do I. I want to know how much they've spent on COVID altogether because we don't know. A lot of the contracts are still secret, ain't they?
Yeah. Billions and billions.
Oh, yeah.
Billions lit across the country.
Hundreds of billions.
And if you want to think about it from a global perspective, they've probably spent trillions on this across the planet.
Oh, yeah.
And trillions is more than enough to say solve world hunger forever. Forever.
Yeah, surely.
So that's how much they care about life, yeah?
Couldn't they cure cancer with all that money?
You could probably, if they probably already got a cure for cancer, but that's a conspiracy, so I'm not going to say that. They don't want to cure anybody, do they? There's no profit in cured people.
Oh, yeah, they want to cure you of coronavirus. We got the coronavirus health service at the moment, haven't we?
Yeah, apart from that, they want you to cure. They can cure you of coronavirus, but nothing else.
Nothing else, no. Having a heart attack, stay at home to save the NHS.
That's it.
Oh,
mate.
yeah, they cured flu. That's it. Make influenza great again.
Yeah,
that's what we need to do.
Masks do that, mate. That's what we're grateful for wearing masks for, mate. That's every time I spoke to somebody on the park the other day. I was like, all right, mate, are you going to vote for me? And then he started banging on at me about, I'm on this and on that, and I'm a COVID denier because I'm against lockdowns. And I asked him, what happened to flu? And he was like, that. Well, everyone's wearing masks. And I'm just like, I can't help somebody. You can't speak to somebody like that because there's no logic there.
Yeah, but you have to let them reach that on their own. You can't.
Yeah.
You can't take them there. They have to reach that on their own if they ever will. Some people may never do it.
He did actually follow me on Twitter later. I noticed him pop up, with a bog standard profile picture. So maybe he's gone away and questioned where is the flu gone? It's a bit odd, isn't it?
Yeah, remember though, you've got to follow the science and tell everyone to wear a mask in the sea.
Yeah. Or when he's sunbathing. All these people are going to come back from Spain and that, and they're going to have like a white nappy mark written right across their face.
Because waterboarding yourself is better than catching COVID.
Yeah, of course.
That's it.
Yeah. I mean, I don't want to call people stupid, but if you're listening to this, I'll let you do that.
I'll call them stupid. You know what I mean? Everyone's entitled to be stupid. You shouldn't take it as a bad thing. I've been stupid in my life. You know what I mean?
We're all stupid.
Yeah. At first, when they was talking about this virus, I was like, fuck me. And then you start seeing people falling down dead, as we were saying earlier. And you're like, fucking hell. That's a bit strong. And you buy into it. And then you start to realise, hold on a minute, where's the people dropping down dead here?
Yeah.
And then you start to realise it's bollocks. And that's it.
I believed it fully. I believed everything. I was promoting it. I was telling people to be scared. I was using my Twitter account to do that. Well, I was, so I was, and I'm annoyed by that because I've seen caught on that it was, something wasn't right. And we've not been honest about this whole situation. And if I get any platform in any position, whether it's at a local authority level or more, then I'm going to tell the truth. That's what I'm going to do. And I'm going to provide facts and figures using the government's own statistics to back up what I say.
Well, that's it.
And that's what I'm going to do on the COVID issue. And that's all I can do. I've had emails from people saying, oh, Darren, we're going to vote for you because you can overturn all the COVID regulations and open all the businesses up. And I'm like, no, I can't do that. But if there's enough people like me saying, hey, we're not being told the truth, here are some facts and figures that say why we're not being told the truth, then hopefully we can wake a few more people up.
This is it. This is what I was thinking to myself yesterday. Like with council elections and things like that, there's a council executive. They make the decisions. You guys won't be that executive. These are senior councillors. That's the way the councils work. They'll make the decisions. But you guys will be privy to information the public is not, which then essentially makes you whistleblowers more than councillors, because you can then pass that information on to media and the public in general through your own social medias. Yeah, saying this is what's really happening, this is what's happening, the council are doing this, they're wasting your money here, they're corrupt there, they're doing that there. Because councillors, they don't give, they would, if you got a seat, they would never give you the power to really do anything because they want that for themselves. Yeah. So the only chance you have is exposing the lies, hypocrisy, corruption, the rest of it. Yeah. That's what councillor is, essentially, for us, if you're talking about the average working class people.
Of course, I'm supposed to be an honest representative of the people, and I should be providing the best value for their tax pay, to those people, as well as delivering what they want for the area that they live in. I live in Plymouth. I live in one of the most beautiful cities in the country. No doubt about it. It is lovely. I walked around the coast this morning. We've got the moors next to us. We've got lovely green areas. And slowly over the last 10 years, I've seen this beauty decline. I've seen an increase in homelessness. I've seen an increase in poverty. And then we've had the last 12 months. And there's no doubt about it. It's hit this community, this city, really, really hard. An area that's quite poor. And I know that the Labour Council that are in power at the moment are more interested in their vanity projects and their crappy little iron statues and helping the people of Plymouth. So,
well, that's kind of what Labour do, isn't it?
Yeah, that's what they do.
I mean, what more can we expect from Labour? The Tories, Lib Dems, the Greens, fucking hell.
And why the fuck are people keep voting for these people? Why? Every time if I ever turn on TV, I don't watch. I've been thinking about this. I've planned. This is something that I've actually planned to say, mate. Every time you turn the TV on, all you see is death and destruction and misery and poverty and war. And now we've got famine, plague, pestilence. I could go on and on and on. And the only reason that we're seeing that is because of the governments that we elect. That's the only reason. If there's a war, it's not because the public wanted the war. If there's, if we're all locked down under, these restrictions, it's not because the public asked for it. It's because it's always been dictated to us.
We're at war.
And I think we're at war.
The government's at war with us.
Yes, it's turned on us now.
The people.
They're at war with the people.
Yeah, 100%. It's an information war, a propaganda war. Yeah. We're being pummeled by it. Military level, military styled fucking. They're using military tactics to push the narrative and to get people to do what they want without having to physically force them to do it, because they know that won't work. And the councillors are all taking part in this. The councillors, they're all sucking the teat, as they would say, to get more money. Look how much money councils have made out of this.
Yeah, I mean,
millions,
look how much. All the money. It's been the largest upwards transfer of wealth in the history of mankind. And all that money who's going to pay for it? We're going to pay for it.
No, my
kids going to pay for this in the future. We're going to be paying for this forever. And during that time of repaying for this pandemic, we're going to be in an enslaved population.
I don't know if interest rates change, we could be paying for it as well. The shit can hit the fan real quick. It's all depending on low interest rates from what I know of it. So we could end up paying for it. But as it stands, you are right. It will be our children and their children who pay for this. Not
It will
us.
have to be paid back some way, yeah? However, whether it's tax or labor or whatever, there has to be like a balance, yeah? There has to be balance. I'm a scientist, so everything's about balance. So what they've sucked out will have to be replaced. And it will be up to the public. It's the public who will lose. And all the time we're locked down, or we're going to have to scan to get into Sainsbury's to get some fucking eggs or whatever it is. And we're going to suffer for it. And that's why people need to start speaking out now. They need to, but it's too late to just to be I'm just going to get along with it. I'm just going to try and put out with it, which is what people are doing. People need to speak out. They need to speak out.
Well, eventually people will, but the problem with the British at the moment is they're apathetic. It'll get better soon. It'll stop. It will go back to normal. Yeah. Because most people don't roll around assuming that governments and the people who are in charge of governments and paying governments and focusing what the government wants to do on what their narrative wants to be. Because you've got to remember, we're dealing with at the moment a David Cameron story about lobbying.
Right.
So that people are lobbying, they're lobbying the government. It's not elected ministers making decisions, it's who's paying the fucking money. Big Pharma, car manufacturers, Amazon, it doesn't matter who it is, everyone is doing it. They're all doing it, they all have lobbies, they all come in there, they're all paying the big money.
Bill.
Huh?
You never mentioned Bill.
Yeah, but Bill Gates is paying for everything, so he's not even really a lobbyist, is he? The fuck knows what he is at this point.
That's a good point, actually. He just sits at the top and watches it all
You've
happen.
also got Tony fucking Blair, who's integrated his teams into governments around the world, and I'm like, what? Who the fuck asked you to do that?
Yeah. I mean, why are people saying who the fuck is in charge here? Why aren't people even asking that simple question? Who's making all these decisions?
People are saying that, yeah. Decognit says in the chat, lobbying is a polite word for bribery. Yeah. Yeah, that's exactly what it is.
But there are lots of people who aren't asking. There's a lot of people who aren't asking that question. A lot.
Well, at the end of the day, the questions that are being asked are ones that the government don't mind being asked. They're not really being asked anything that's against them. But they never do. When you think about it, they never have. The media never have.
No one's provided any challenge, any questioning, any opposition, nothing.
Like people would say, oh yeah, they did it for Brexit. No, they pushed their narrative to remain in the EU. They weren't challenging anything that was said. They just wanted their narrative to be the way it went, and they wanted the public to buy into going against their vote. So it's not like they were against him or they're against this. They're not. They're just for their own agenda being lobbied. The media, especially now, are fucking bought and paid for, let's be honest. They do what they're fucking told, mate.
Of course they do. And the propaganda has been next level. Well,
Ofcom released last year, didn't they? The updated guidance to say that the media can't go against the government's narrative, WHO narrative, or anything like that. So even if the media wanted to call out some bullshit, they've got to do it in line with staying within the narrative, so they can't even really call out the bullshit.
They can't, and Eamon Holmes actually said that on TV probably about 6 months ago.
Yeah,
that he's not allowed to say
it.
And it's just insane. It's almost like I'm living in some sort of, I don't know, some sort of simulation.
V for Vendetta, mate.
Yeah, it is V for Vendetta, mate.
We're on the way there.
We are on the, and you could look at a whole range of films that have been out in the last 10 years and go, oh my God, this reminds me of the world that I'm living in right at this very moment.
But actually, that's something that makes me laugh about this. You remember Matt Hancock a few months ago said he watched Contagion.
Yeah.
And decided to do some shit. Decided to do some shit based on that. Now, I watched Contagion after that a couple of months ago again to rewatch it, just to remember it.
I did exactly the same.
And I thought, well, hold on a minute. If you watched Contagion and compared it to this current situation, you'd open the fucking country up.
Yeah.
Because Contagion was serious, like 30% or 40%, wasn't it, that was dying in that, if memory serves? It was a high death rate. Like fucking Ebola or something.
Yeah, I mean, that was an actual real pandemic.
And that there should have said to anyone who's just sitting at home watching the BBC, getting force-fed the bullshit, that should have said, oh, I might watch Contagion. And then they should have fucking woke up and said, hold on a minute, how did you come to the conclusion of adding new restrictions because of Contagion when nothing in relation to that film can be related to what's happening now?
in terms of the actual pandemic and the death rate and stuff.
Yeah.
You can't. There's been no justification for a lockdown.
Yeah,
in fact, mate, the fact that me and you are actually discussing this and we're debating it, even if we're not necessarily on opposing sides at all, we're debating that whether there's been a pandemic or whether we're in a pandemic now, it probably suggests that there hasn't or there isn't now.
Well, no, there has been a pandemic because the WHO declared one, which is the definition of a pandemic. That's it. So there has been a pandemic. We can say what we want about it at the end of the day. They declared it, governments acted, they put the plans in place that have been there for years at this point, where automatic purchases of vaccines, medical supplies and all this is automatically done from our money with no questions asked at extortionate rates. So yeah, there is a pandemic. If they declare there's a pandemic, then there's a pandemic. Remember, reality doesn't matter anymore. If they decide something is happening, then it's happening. Like they seem to think that 80% support masks on kids in schools.
I know.
I fail to believe that. You know what I mean?
And I know that it's not true because I'm dealing with parents who refuse to send their kids to school because of the mask issue.
Yeah, I told my son. They said, they're making us wear masks in school. I said to him, you don't have to do fuck all. I can't make you wear that. They can't make you wear that. So if you don't want to wear it, you don't wear it. And as far as I'm aware, he doesn't.
Good on him.
Yeah.
Because the peer pressure must be immense.
Nah, tell them fuck off. I mean, could you imagine them trying to do this when we were at school?
Yeah, we wouldn't have had it. We told them to fuck off.
Yeah, exactly.
Of course we would have.
We would have told them straight to fuck off. Straight away.
Yeah.
Without question.
But then, when we were kids, mate, we didn't have social media, mobile phones, and a TV media system that was able to provide messages and propaganda that would have convinced us. Yeah. We didn't have that. We didn't have those systems in place.
No, I just think the generation that was adults then would have told them to fuck off. Government said stay in your home. Most of these people alive would have been from World War II. They'd have been like, we didn't stay in our home then.
Actually, yeah, I mean that's a good point.
That's what my nan said. My nan said that to me.
Yeah.
We didn't stay in our home during World War II. Why would we do it now?
Yeah. And there were fucking bombs falling on the cities. I mean, I live in a city that was bombed. That was completely flattened.
She's from London.
People didn't stay inside then.
She's from London, so she was certainly bombed. You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I mean, if people just open their eyes and realize and try to match up the evidence to what we're being told, if people could just do that and question things, then we wouldn't be in a situation.
Well, that's the only way it can happen. You can't force people into it. You can't tell them, because if they've bought into something so much, to find out that they were wrong often hurts their pride too much that they won't admit it. They'll fight against you. I've seen it myself with people I know arguing with me about something, and I'm like, the evidence is there. This is not me saying it. This is the government saying it. Now, these are the ones you said were correct. So why were they correct before, but not now when they've gone against what you've believed for the past 6 or 8 months or whatever it was? It's like...
And they don't want to look at it, do they? They don't want to even look at it.
No.
Yeah, I've had the same. Here's the evidence. Don't want to look at it. You're just not telling the truth. And I'm like, well, look, I'm trying to show you. And
no, you can't. You can give them breadcrumbs. You can give them breadcrumbs. You can send them on the path to find their own way, but they have to find their own way. You literally
and that's
have
why
to.
it would help. Yeah, and that's why it'll help if there are people who are on platforms, and people have tried, and they've all been censored. So it would be no different to anybody else, I'm assuming. But you've got to try. But if there's somebody saying, "Oh, I'm a counsellor," or "I'm a politician," or "I'm a doctor," or "I'm a scientist," or whoever it might be, saying these things, these opposing that counter narrative to what we're being told, then people might hear that message for the first time, because a lot of people, because of censorship, are not hearing any of these ideas.
Well, it's not even that so much. It's just more so that the information and back dealings that will be visible are more likely to turn people skeptical of the narrative when they start seeing how dodgy deals are getting done and the things that the councillors are pushing for when the government's not pushing for it, or the things they're trying to do, like a video I made yesterday about councils enforcing masks outside in beer gardens when the government said nothing of the sort.
And it's insane. That's insane.
Like this is the sort of shit you will have the opportunity to call out. And maybe the best we can get from having independent councillors in there. Just the ability to get more information out there so more people wake the fuck up and smell the roses or smell the bullshit, because it ain't roses, I'll tell you that for nothing.
Yeah, and that's exactly, exactly what I am standing to do on the woke narrative. So statues, street names. I can't actually physically do anything, but I can call it out and oppose and not vote for any bad decisions in that area.
As a council, you can do something about that. As a councillor, you can do something about streets in your area and statues and things like that. That's
I'll be in opposition to any. I mean, they're trying to change they're taking down Sir John Hawkins' name from Sir John Hawkins Square in Plymouth. You've done a piece on it, I believe, in one of your previous videos. Yeah. And they talked about Sir Francis Drake. Like, what the fuck? Sir Francis Drake and Sir John Hawkins are like national heroes, and they're trying to tear them down. So, I can't necessarily stop it, but I can do everything I can in my power.
No, you can stop it, because as a councillor, you'll have a voice. You'll have a voice with the local community who will back you. Trust me, they will not want people removing statues and shit like that. That's something you can do.
Yeah, they 100%. I don't know anyone in Plymouth who wants Sir John Hawkins Square torn down. I literally don't know anybody.
No, it's the same with the Colston statue and things like that. No one wanted that.
The actual sitting population of those places in our cities all around the country do not want our statues ripped down.
It's like in London. They don't want the statues all that removed in London, and you could probably ask that of especially say like a fucking tourist coming over here. Comes over here to see the statues, see the sights, see the things like that. They're coming over here to visit Winston Churchill's statue, to see the statue of whoever, to see the cenotaph.
And I've had it on good authority that if Labour get into power down here, I can only talk about locally, and they've got their eyes on our statues. So anyone listening to this, if you're planning to vote Labour but you like the statue, or you like our war memorials, or you think Sir John Hawkins Square should remain, then just know this, that Labour very well may come for the statues if they get back into power in Plymouth.
I doubt anyone voting Labour is watching this, mate.
Yeah, hello. All right, tell your Labour mates then. Tell them. Sorry, that was me thinking I had a diverse audience.
Labour voters not likely to be here. Darren might have had a few drinks this morning, guys, thinking there's Labour voters in the chat.
Not enough coffee.
Yeah, no, he's still asleep.
Yeah. So the Labour, they've got their eyes on our statues.
They've got their eyes on the statues across the country, because they follow the 1% on Twitter that bitch about things like this.
Yeah. And they raise petitions and get them signed from people who are probably not even in this country, a woke mob from somewhere else, because there's no real woke mob in Plymouth other than in the education system and the NHS.
Yeah, university. Yeah, I expect most NHS staff are not woke. They just try to get on with their job, and that's it.
But they don't say anything.
No, because they don't want to rock the fucking boat. Sticking your head above the parapet gets you in trouble. You lose your job, you lose promotions. These people have probably got houses to pay for. They're thinking about that. So you can't really hold it against them for that, because many people would do that, not necessarily over this, over many different things. People have had to forget their morals for something like that. And especially with the propaganda, like I said, this has been military, psychological propaganda that has been pushed on people who are not used to dealing with it, who have just been trying to live their life. And most people, let's remember, don't watch the fucking news.
Yeah,
I know of many people that when I talk about something related to even current events that's being spoke about the BBC, they're like, what?
Yeah, they don't know.
Yeah, they don't even know. They don't know. It's happening in their area. They live there.
Yeah.
Someone I know got stabbed in an area of London. I know people who live there. And I said to them, did you hear about that kid that got stabbed up the road from you? He was like, no, when was this?
No idea.
I was like, what world are you fucking living in?
Yeah.
Like, how do you not know this shit's happened? That could have been your fucking little brother who's about the same age as the kid who got stabbed, furthermore.
Because people are so focused on themselves and the little bubble that they live in, and I get that. Everybody's has consented to what's happened because they have that carrot hanging in front of them of their house.
So I don't necessarily hold it against every doctor that's not come out and said nothing, because I understand they have risks and they don't really want to risk it. I don't agree with them necessarily, but I understand it because they have their own problems to deal with, like everybody does. We can't just base everything around.
I wasn't trying to put that in as
no, of course not. No, of course
as
not.
a criticism, mate.
No,
I was
no.
just
But
saying,
I
this
was
is
just
the
saying
reality
that
of the situation.
for the balance of them, they can't just.
Yeah.
Some people
And I
can't
know
do that.
plenty of
Some
people
people
like that.
have, and when they have, they get fucking raked over the coals, smeared by the media. All sorts of bullshit. So I do understand why people are now don't. And the people did it at the beginning. I remember seeing them at the beginning.
Yeah.
Doing it at the beginning, and then all of a sudden they're gone. Like they're banned from all social media and things like this.
Yeah, and people people are losing, they've fallen out with their family members and friends, and social circles have all been separated and scattered. Not just because everyone's been locked down.
No, that will be why. That will be what caused it. If they would have been able to spend time together, disagreeing on things like that would have been debated and talked through, and then either forgotten or worked out. But being separated from each other, it isolates you, which then makes you a little bit more ratty, irritable. You're not yourself. Then you start to take things further than you necessarily would. So there is possibilities
because their opinions are so poles apart. If you have somebody who accepts everything that's been going on, and you have somebody who disagrees, after 12 months, it's very difficult to reconcile that. And I've spoken to people who have told me about how their friends, their circle of friends, have been decimated because they disagree on this particular subject.
But that goes back to what I said earlier about breadcrumbs. Not just going out with them and debating them and giving them all the information at once, because people can't take it all in. Like the information you have and people get who have been looking into it has been gained over many weeks or months. So they haven't just had an influx of information into their brain that shits on their entire worldview at the moment. Some people can't take that. Their pride will get in the way. Like, I've been taken for a fool, taken for a ride.
It's not easy to convince somebody that they've been fooled, is it?
Yeah, no, it's not. And it's not easy for them to recognise that they've been fooled, even if you practically slap them in the face with the information. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And
I may have been fooled. You may have been fooled as well, mate.
We've all been fooled at one time or another.
Yeah.
Everyone
has. We may be fooled on this situation.
Yeah, we've all been fooled. I've been fooled on this situation. I thought things were happening that weren't. I will freely admit it. You know what I mean? And it's hard to accept that you fucked up, but people make mistakes, you know what I mean? Especially when you've got untold amounts of countless propaganda everywhere you see.
Yeah, everywhere.
Literally,
I'm going to find out the cost of that today.
And the same is true for with the woke propaganda. It's exactly the same there. That's everywhere as well. But I feel people buy into that less because they're not being told there's a threat to their safety.
Yeah. And people don't buy into it, and I've had plenty of people complaining about being called racist when I walked around Bevel.
In this day and age, when someone says to me that they've been called racist, I just look at them and think, well, the chances are you were probably called racist by a white person, and you're a white person, so I wouldn't worry about it too much.
Every time.
You know what I mean?
But people are pissed off of that. People are really pissed off with that particular issue about the constant narrative in the media and, through social media that white people in particular are inherently racist. People
You've got to understand it's just a way of not arguing with you. They can't debate you. They can't beat you in an argument. They know they're wrong. But they just go to that. They literally just go to, you're a racist, you're a fascist, you're this, you're that. You're a bigot, you hate women, you hate this person, that group, and it's like, where did you get this shit from?
Yeah, you just made that shit up.
Did you pull that out of your arsehole? Because I've never said a word of it.
If you can't say nothing to them, that's the end of the conversation then, see you later.
I'll be called a racist every day in the comment section somewhere. But
every
I'll
fucking
just
day,
look at it and think, well, go on then. Fucking report it to the old bill, mate. See what they got to say.
Yeah.
See if they're coming round, because I doubt they fucking will. You know what I mean?
And it gets boring. But having worked in the education system, I've seen how the racist card is used, and it's savage, and it's sort of that whole woke agenda is intertwined in the teaching, especially in the further education and in universities. I've seen it firsthand with myself. I opposed it when I worked in those institutions. I could never work in one again. And it's like an asylum. It's like an insane asylum. It was. The attitude of some of the staff.
Thinking about it, when you hear all these people screaming about racists, I know of white guys in London who speak to their friends who are black and will literally call them the N-word. And not a word is said.
Yeah.
No, black guys don't say a fucking word. They don't seem to care.
Yeah,
But
they call each other it. They make billions and billions out of rap music using the N-word, and then they sell it to white kids.
Yeah.
You know? So, I mean, what's the problem with the N-word? I don't use it.
And
It's
then white
deemed
kid will get
offensive.
caught singing along to the song and be cancelled.
Exactly. Yeah. You can listen to it if it's a black person saying it and you're paying for it, but not you can't repeat it if you want to mimic.
Yeah, this is the fucking absolute clown world that we live in, though, isn't it?
Yeah. And that dipole, the fact that usually within the current narrative, and it's been the same for the last 4 or 5 years, the opposite is always true. You know.
Well, in my experience, I've never really heard black people moan about racism. When I was a kid, maybe, because it was far more prevalent back then. I remember seeing shit on the fucking streets, like BMP fucking spray painted on the wall and shit. You don't see that now. You didn't see that in the year 2000, furthermore. So,
no, I mean, just racism is not an issue in this country, and it hasn't been for a long time.
No, I wouldn't say it is
the only racism I've really seen online has come from, apart from the BBC, and in fact, probably all the mainstream media, and is online, like through my Twitter account, and it is from the left, and it's the anti-Semitism. And I couldn't believe some of the racism. I've seen it in the last couple of weeks. I mean, I
feel the left are racist to everyone.
Yeah, but the racism comes from the left.
So is it really racist because they're treating everyone the same? Racism is classed as treated as discrimination, isn't it? If you hate everyone, then can we even call them racist? Yeah. Does it even work?
Yeah, if you're racist to everyone.
But then again, have they changed the definition now?
Yeah.
Have they changed the definition of racism yet?
Yeah, I think there's a meme in there somewhere.
That's it, because the left literally hate everyone that's not the left. And then they even hate themselves when they realise that someone's not as fucking far left as they are. They'll call them far right.
Yeah, well, they always tell themselves and eat themselves, don't they? And I think that's what we're going to witness the left eating themselves. We're going to witness this in May's local elections.
We've witnessed it already. I've done a couple of videos of them eating themselves. It's actually great. And I've done another video on them demanding cancel culture for certain people while defending their own sex pests and things like this.
Yeah. I mean, the hypocrisy is off the scale with the left. I mean, it's just it's hard to if you couldn't stick a number to it, because there's always going to be somebody else who's going to just better the last piece of bullshit that they've said that they've gone back on. You're always going to find somebody else. Richard Burton's going to come along and up the ante.
Oh God, don't get me started on that twat.
You haven't called anyone a shit weasel yet, so you can pick on him if you want.
No, he's not a shit weasel. That's disrespectful to shit weasels. I'd consider him a fuck pig, probably. Geezer's an idiot. Yeah. He is beyond stupid. The other day, actually, thinking of him,
and he's racist.
Thinking of him, yeah, he is. Yeah, actually, hasn't he been? He's been done for it. Let's be honest. He's been.
He's an anti-Semite.
He's been caught on video. Actually fucking saying shit, innit? Yeah, I remember seeing that.
He is. And yet he's there banging out about how all people, Britain, you're racist.
Well, I find the people that run around screaming that people are racist, mate, are generally the ones who are more likely to be racist themselves. Like, they'll run around talking about Black Lives Matter and talking about how black people need this and they need that and they need the help from this and that. And I'm like, I'm yet to meet a black person that's ever said they need the help of a Labour MP to do anything in their life.
Yeah.
Most black people I've ever met despise politicians, politics, government, media, practically everything. So I don't understand what they think they're doing. And then when you get to the Black Lives Matter marches,
I
don't know was there any in Plymouth?
We had some small gatherings.
Were they 95% white like they were in Brixton?
Yeah. There was about 500 people who turned up to the police station. I'm just using that figure. It could be more or less. They all had green hair and pink hair and looked weird. And they were all white. There was a couple of black people. And that was it.
I used to live in Brixton
There is only a few black people in Plymouth.
I used to live in Brixton many years ago.
Yeah.
And I'll tell you what, the population is not 95% white. I'll tell you that for nothing right fucking now. Right. So the fact that the Black Lives Matter march through Brixton consisted of at least 95%. I did a video on it at the time, like, where are all the black people?
Exactly.
Then I would say that your movement is clearly not something supported by the black people in London.
No.
And I would suggest probably around the country. And I spoke to a few black guys after that. after I made some videos absolutely shitting on BLM and their bullshit. They watched them. They loved them. They fully agreed with me. In fact, they were some of the people who said to me first, anything the media supports can get fucked. You know what I mean? He said, as soon as I heard the media promote it, you knew this was never about Black lives or anything like that. It was about whatever they were trying to push at the fucking time.
How many black lives, how many black people have benefited, the average person in this country, America, anywhere, that have actually benefited from the movement? Have they benefited financially? Have their job prospects increased or improved? Have they, in fact, the only thing that they're likely to get is that zero, The only thing they're going to get is that there's been some division caused. The Black Lives Matter may have stirred up some actual hardcore racists, and they are few and far between. And they've just upset everybody and turned everybody to face at each other, and as if we were in opposition.
Yeah, they stirred up the real hardcore racists in the BBC. That's who they stirred up. Sky News. Sky News fucking loved it, didn't they? They loved it.
Yeah, they loved it. Sky News are one of the worst. I mean, if not the worst.
And the Premier League, we need to promote BLM because we haven't been saying kick fucking racism out of football for 20 years. You don't already have a campaign to get rid of it.
Yeah. And most of the top footballers are black. I would gladly just have 1 week's worth of their wages, please. I'm a struggling teacher. I would like 1 week of your wages, mate, because you're on 100
it is,
grand,
as the chat is saying,
year.
divide and rule. That's what it is. Divide and rule. Remember, they have what's his name? 70,000 coppers in the country as a whole. Against 70 million, 80 million if you include illegal immigrants that the governments have imported.
Yeah, exactly.
Or up to 80 million. Let's keep it there because someone might try and fact check me. I don't know if there's 80 million. The government don't even know if there's 80 fucking million.
I think 70 million is probably a pretty good guess, mate.
No, they know there's 67 or 70 million here anyway.
Yeah,
so
they know that. It'll be around 70, I reckon.
There's millions.
We'll find out from the census, won't we?
Yeah. Well, no, we won't.
Apart from those that didn't sign it.
We won't find out from the census, because if the census says anything that makes the government look like consecutive Tory and Labour governments look like incompetent tossers, they won't put it out, mate. They'll decide because of the pandemic it's not in the public interest. Believe me, people will be like, what? And they won't care, they'll carry on.
Doesn't it? COVID cures all, doesn't it?
Or Prince Philip dying.
Well, we'll see what happens with that. But the Black Lives Matter is something that's been brought up to me as I've been walking around, and people were not happy about, the riots that we had in London, the support that the media gave it, and concerns that we're now opening up again. Hey, we may see these protests reappear. We may.
Yeah, well, they will appear again if the media, government, and political parties need them.
Exactly.
they only seem to appear when they're needed, so I don't care. You can call me a conspiracy theorist on that one. They appear when they need to appear for some reason. Or they jump on a bandwagon when they need to jump on a bandwagon. And they're always involved in the protest. Like, you'll see multiple of them at the same protest years down the line or months down the line. So bollocks to them.
And whether they serve their purpose or not, they sowed a lot.
Didn't the leader of them get herself a nice little £1.4 million house in a white neighbourhood the other day?
Yeah, she's living the dream of white privilege now. I don't know what her name is, but she got what she got what she was protesting about.
It don't even matter what her fucking name is, does it? At the end of the day, it don't matter. That's it.
It's like, maybe protesting can actually be quite profitable. Protesting for bullshit reasons on faux grief. So maybe when
we all made the mistake, man. We all should have been woke. We could sit there and fucking make so much money out of fucking idiots that are just willing to donate a bit of Coca-Cola, bit of Ford, bit of this, donating a couple of million. Fuck you.
Like I said at the beginning, there has to be balance. So the whole the meme "go woke, go broke" that's going to come for all these people eventually.
Oh, it does already for some of them.
Some of them have already really, really suffered, and it's only a matter of time because it's been so rammed down your throat all day long, this woke nonsense, that people are sick of it.
And that's why independent candidates like you are more important, because the last thing you want is a bunch of woke tosspots and snivelling shit weasels like that sitting in your local council dictating what happens in your local area.
Yeah.
That
when and that's not representative of the people with
no,
it.
it's not. Of course not. These
Not at
people
all.
that sit there in council offices are not like the average person you'll meet on the street.
No,
I'll tell you that
no.
now. They're not even like the average person that's doing a job for the council, working for them in some fucking shit kicker job, getting paid minimum wage, while this bitch is up there sitting on a £700 fucking Herman Miller chair or something.
Yeah. And if you want to see what your councillors are like, your local council probably publishes videos of their council meetings. Just go and watch. Just go and watch for 20 minutes if you manage it, yeah? And you'll see these fucking idiots in action.
It'll just be a bunch of tossers sitting there stroking their own cocks while they waste our money. I'd rather not.
Yeah.
I could watch the BBC if I wanted to watch that sort of bullshit.
Well, throwing mud at their opposition, and that's what happens.
Well,
Not all of them.
politics
There are
is
some
it.
good councillors. There are some good councillors out there, and as much as I hate to say it, down in Plymouth, all the good councillors down here sit on the Conservative bench. But in general,
well, at local level, Conservative councillors not necessarily going to be as scummy as the fucking government ones, so you can't place them all there, but.
There are some good ones, and there are some good Labour councillors as well. Sorry to upset your audience. There are a couple.
The Tory Party and Labour Party need to learn a lesson that they can't be taking the piss out of the public. So that's why I would suggest never voting for these fucking scumbags ever again in your life.
I will never vote for them again. And
don't vote for any main political party. Obviously, Lib Dems and Labour are a given. These things are a given. No, never in my life will I ever tell you to vote for those parties. Never in my fucking life. Never in my life will I say it's even a good idea or say that's on you. I'll say you're an idiot. But you can do what you want, obviously.
The Lib Dems are actually standing on an anti-lockdown platform. So
which is just even more embarrassing for the Tory party. Like, the Liberal Democrats, mate. Come on.
They want to give the Lib Dems want to give you your freedom, but the Tories don't. Yeah,
the Lib Dems, the fuckers who had Guy Verhofstadt standing there like a fucing European dictator screaming it at the conference, are actually more fucking libertarian than the Tories.
Joe Swinson telling Andrew Neil that she was going to be the next Prime Minister of a big yellow bus.
Joe Swinson, the next Prime Minister. I remember that.
Has anyone seen Joe? Because I haven't seen her for like a year.
I think she was spotted at the job centre.
I hope COVID didn't get her.
No, she was spotted at the job centre a couple of months ago.
How was she? She was queuing up with the crowd.
Yeah, she was signing on. She's one of the people now.
Yeah, good old Joe. She was good. She was good entertainment value. She was excellent.
She was good. She was good. She should have carried on leading the party.
I know.
That would have been fucking hilarious. But right, guys, we'll end it there. Does anyone in the chat have a question for Darren before we go? Anyone? Anyone from Plymouth would be the best bet.
Be better.
Anyone from the local area?
Oh, I'm not that good, mate. We've been going for an hour though.
So we've been going for a while. We probably covered most of what.
Yeah.
Does Darren like fry-ups? Well, there you go. There's a fucking question of the day.
What's that?
Great political question of the day. Does Darren like fry-ups?
Yeah, I fucking love fry-ups. Yeah. Beer, sausages, bacon, eggs, hash browns. I love the works. Yeah, fry-ups. I might have to go and sort one out in a minute.
Edwardson has a question. Go on, mate. Crack on.
What's up?
We're waiting for him. I'm just waiting for him to ask the question. Right. He said he had a question, but didn't follow with the question.
Right. Yeah, that would help.
What's Matty England's asked? What's your views on Shaven Havens? This is it. You could never get an actual political candidate on here for running for MP because you'd have the chat demanding he asked whether he likes the Brazilian or not.
Yeah, no, I mean Brazilians were good. But they've gone a step further now, so I prefer that.
Edwardson says, do you honestly think you'd be allowed to carry out your promises? Which
I have no idea. I can't tell you that because I don't know what would happen if I get elected. Will they allow me to be elected? Let's just say I get the 2,000 votes I think I need. When it comes to the Labour Council counting the votes, will they allow me to be elected? I don't know. And when I get into the council, am I just going to be shut down, silenced, my Twitter account deleted, whatever? I don't know. I can't say what's going to happen when I get elected, but I can say that what I will do was make a lot of fucking noise on all the issues that I am standing up upon.
All right, we got
and I'm doing that already.
We got Headshot asking, if elected, can you try, well, I'm supposedly saying, can you open up the retired nuclear submarines for tourist visits, especially HMS Conqueror? So,
I mean, that'd be a great idea for Conqueror. That's still laid up in the dockyards. It's still hot, I think. So, a little bit of interesting. It's the only nuclear submarine to actually officially sink another ship in battle. I think that's true.
Falklands, wasn't it?
Yeah, in the Falklands. Yeah,
yep,
the Belgrano.
General Belgrano.
Yeah.
All right, thank you.
Any other
Someone's asked about
questions?
the composition of sulfuric acid.
Yeah,
Chemical formula.
H2SO4. Hydrogen salt. It says it's hydrogen sulfate dissolved in water. H2SO4.
Al Bundy
It's
says,
also-
Darren, change your name to Sadiq Khan. That way you will get elected.
Right, okay. Well,
They might do in London.
when it comes to election day, or maybe just a week beforehand, I'll get up in the morning and I'll just identify as him.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
today I'm Sadiq Khan, and I'll see if that wins me some votes. Down here, I don't think it's going to work out too well for me if I do
Just
that.
identify as Darren Denslow, the attack helicopter, now known as Sadiq Khan.
Yeah. I'll change my profile, put a picture in and everything. And if anyone calls me anything other than Sadiq Khan, I'm getting them done for misnaming me and misgendering me and all the rest of
Yeah,
it.
you can go
Because he
down
is a
the
woman.
entire line. Right then, Darren, thank you very much for joining us today. Hopefully, many people will get to see this and they will get to see you as a normal bloke just trying to get rid of these woke tosspots in the council, which is always good news in my books. Thank you very much for joining us,
I want to stand
mate.
up for the people that I live with. Simple as that.
That's good. I'll always support that shit. Now, chat, thank you very much for joining us today. And I'll catch you all next time. We will try and get more independent candidates on and we'll give them a little talking to like we have now. Maybe we'll be able to get some Lib Dems and Labour ones on for a talking to. We'll see what they got to say for themselves. But we can't guarantee that they will. Thanks, guys. I'll catch you all in the next one, though. There'll be a video out later, maybe an